Part 2, you know what it is. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long, man. Y'all already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't seen part 1 is uploaded. Go watch it and then come back to part 2. All right, so we're gonna get into it. 3, 2, 1.
He didn't just embarrass you, but he put himself in a situation where he could have been in, I think you know I was a former prosecutor in New York. You could have been arrested and put in on a mental hold for that kind of behavior.
He's been on mad mental holds. That's nothing new. I'm tired of that behavior.
Come on, Mr. Jaramillo, talk to me. What was happening? Why this episode? That's recent, according to you.
But this was 2021, so again, it's kind of like outdated information, but it's still relevant because, you know, but I was, you know, I do remember that I lost my phone. I don't remember really to the extent how, but that night I did.
So you're telling me this didn't happen in the most recent Valentine's?
No.
This is a past Valentine's.
Or 2021, maybe, yeah.
So you've gotten through these episodes, is what you're saying?
We had a pretty good Valentine's Day this past one, actually. But.
It was 2023 Valentine's Day. I know it felt like 2021, but it was 2023's Valentine's Day, right? Yeah, so then that happened. And then this Valentine's Day, you know, was definitely not that. And I appreciate him, which is why I see that he has try in him. He has some type of potential, you know. But then moving forward, my son's birthday, you know, my son turned 1 year old. And his family came from out of town from Tennessee to come and visit. And they don't come all the time like that. They live all the way in Tennessee. We live in Brooklyn. You know, they come all the way down.
What happened at the birthday?
So basically, we was all there. And that's my son.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my son right there. Is, you know, it's
a little boy right there.
Anyways, they come all the way down.
Thank you.
So we can have a birthday party. This is here at one of the birthday venues for him, which he wasn't able to make because he was at work that night, because he was at that time working before he got fired again. He was at work that night, so he couldn't make it. So the following day, the parents and the family and I decided at my apartment we were gonna do a second birthday there. You know, like a home birthday. So we doing it or whatever the case may be. He's there at this time or whatever. Everyone's, you know, singing happy birthday. We got the cake, you know, in there. I look over to my right. I'm like, happy. He's like, happy. Nodding out on the happy birthday. So I'm like, yo, mind you, our car at the time had just got taken. The push present that he got for me just got repossessed. You know, we had it for a year, it got repossessed. So now we looking forward because the family always never let us down. They always make sure and they always tell him, like, we're not hurting, we're not broke, but as long as you're doing the right thing by you and your child or whatever your family, we always gonna be willing to extend our olive branch and help you with stuff. But you show us yourself like this, we don't want nothing to do with it.
So let me guess, the falling asleep.
So he embarrassed me and fell asleep like 3 times during singing happy birthday in front of them. And then like the 3rd time, they was like, oh, all right, they ain't even hardly had no cake. They was like, all right, they got their coats, like, we leaving, all right, we'll see y'all later. And I felt so bad.
So your family
like,
was embarrassed?
I don't have family like that. That is my family now, whether he likes it or not. So you pushing them away, it makes me feel like you taking a part of something
Ms. Edwards, Mr. Jaramillo needs to answer for himself.
I was working at the time. I remember I was tired. And to be honest, like, they never really expressed, like, because, you know, I kind of have to, you know, I got to defend myself here, too. So it's like...
I'm listening. I don't know. I don't understand why you think it's a joke. This is serious. This is your life.
Right, right. So I was on Seroquel that day, right? So, but I also worked. So it's not that I was really high, but it's like it makes you sleepy.
You were on what?
I was on Seroquel.
It's a sleeping pill, but why take a sleeping pill of Seroquel at 3 in the afternoon? What are you taking Seroquel at 2 in the afternoon for?
That's a very good question.
Right, because I was kind of like trying to like stop taking the Percocets and things like that. So, you know, I got Seroquel because I've been given that in the past, actually in rehabs. I've been to rehabilitation centers in my life before that where I've been given this before.
So at this point, while you are trying to stop taking other drugs, why have you not checked yourself into a rehabilitation center?
I have a lot. I've been in about 4.
Since he's been here, it's been about 3 or 4 he's been in.
Okay, so, Mr. Jaramillo, I'm coming back to it. It sounds like you detox, but then you don't follow through.
That's what happens, yeah. I'll get clean.
So then that means you're not in rehab. That means you detox, meaning clean your body out. But by the way, your movements right now, while you're looking at me, make me think that you are still using drugs. I'm telling you, your movements are giving that to me. So, having been in a situation where I have been around a number of people who have used drugs, you're giving me that energy, and I don't know if it's true or not.
It's true. I mean, I do drugs, but I don't.
But wait a minute, you started out by telling me you were 3 months sober.
I am 3 months sober. That's what I'm saying.
You're 3 months sober?
Do you know that the residual, so I've taken, Xanax and Percocet for at least 10 years, well, not 10 years, maybe like 6, That stuff residually, if you read it and things like that, the residual effects are pretty lingering and things like that.
No,
On top of the fact that I've never like really been in this kind of scenario, so I'm also a little bit nervous, to be honest with you. But
what kind of scenario? Where you're talking about your life?
I've never really done this.
Okay,
so
which I appreciate.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be like.
But I think I'm being respectful, and I think that I'm treating you with dignity and empathy, right? So this is not a joke for me.
It's not a joke for me either.
So then focus on what I'm saying to you. Focus on me. Don't focus on nobody else. Focus on me.
Yo, like, I said it in part 1, like, I'm looking at his body language, I'm looking at his eyes, I'm looking at the way he keeps tapping the desk. It looks like he's high right now, bro. You know, it looks like he's on something. And Shorty, I feel like Shorty brought this upon herself, because like she said growing up, she saw her mom be on drugs, she saw her family be on drugs, and it's like, I don't know, like, it makes me feel like her decision making is fucked up. Like, her decision making is not the best, because like, why do you want to get in bed with something that you grew up with, you know it wasn't good for you, but you're getting in bed with it today, like you're having kids with this person? It's insane.
What I'm trying to say to you is, I'm worried about you as a young man, that you are dangerously moving towards addict, or you are there right now. So I'm gonna ask for somebody who's got a whole lot more experience than me to come and shed some light on what true addiction looks like, if that's okay with you.
That is great. Whatever is gonna bring us to progression, I am down. I want my family. That's the only family I have.
So this is what we're going to do. I have asked Dr. Jackson to join us. He's unable to join us here live, but he can join me virtually so that I can ask these questions. Dr. Jackson, are you available for the testimony in the court today? Thank you so very much.
Yes, I am.
So will you do me a favor and state your name and your credentials?
My name is Dr. Ulysses Jackson. I'm a licensed mental certified substance abuse counselor.
And
a specialization in behavioral science with a PhD in behavior.
And I understand you have an expertise in alcoholism and substance abuse, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
So you've been listening to the testimony. I asked you to do that earlier. How can Mr. Jaramillo effectively manage work stress and family pressures without turning to drugs? Because that is what I'm hearing in everything this young man has said.
Well, from what I'm gathering, he needs a support system. Mm-hmm. And the addiction is usually a family disease. It affects the family. As his partner has been saying, she's been very, very aggravated about his substance use, which means she's going to be a big part of the support group. So they're going to have some type of understanding of what's triggering him to do that. And I would go into recommending that network would be such as Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and Al-Anon for the family, so she can understand when he's drunk or when he's on Percocet, so she can identify these substances better herself too.
Absolutely, so that she is not left out in the dark. And admittedly, she is not somebody who is familiar with drugs, and so whatever information the defendant is giving her, she's just taking it at face value and then watching behaviors.
Yes.
So, Dr. Jackson, what role do you think Mrs. Edwards should be playing in supporting her husband's path to sobriety? Because when she came into this court, Ms. Edwards said she wants her family. She did not want to break up her family, but she cannot take this kind of behavior anymore. I just want to make sure she has some real behavior strategies for herself.
It's identifying a trigger. She may be part of the trigger now that it's this later on in the relationship and the child is here. So she has to understand whether she's triggering him where he doesn't want to come home or he stays out late. She has to understand what is his triggers that's triggering his behavior and understanding what, his substance use. Because it's a difference between nodding and being drunk. And Al-Anon and these support network groups will let them know where it's going. And as far as him, his follow-up with individual counseling and a support group is going to help him stay in line.
Man, this is so crazy, man. This is a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna try to like tear down nobody, you know, but these are real people, real issues. You know, it's a lot of people that's going through something like this. And, you know, we got about like 9 minutes
It
left.
sounds like you have some practical steps for Mr. Jaramillo to avoid relapse, especially during those high stress times, because I want this young man to have his own strategies in place.
Yes, you have to also be aware of people, places, and things that's going to get him activated to trigger him off. Like being in a restaurant and just leaving going to a liquor store, that's behavioral issue. You know, we're going to have to identify what was making you want to go out and do that while you're in an intimate setting, getting ready to eat with your partner. You know, so we're going to have to go into those triggers, you know, and understanding the dynamics of people, places, and things being a detrimental part of his addiction.
Is there anything else that you would like to add in this situation, sir?
Yeah, I would just be willing to work with Mr. Jamello, you know, and provide some sessions for him to make sure he stays online and try to get him rolled and get him in line, because I am in the Brooklyn area.
I would like to work with you.
Yes.
So, Mr. Jaramillo, Dr. Jackson, I really appreciate, Dr. Jackson, your willingness to take this case on. Mr. Jaramillo, I heard you pipe right up that you'd like to work with Dr. Jackson.
I do. Like, I have come to terms with that, the fact that I, you know, am an addict. And it's really hard for me to sit here in a room and say that, but it's the facts. And
that's the first step to healing.
Yeah.
Is for you to say that.
It's like you can be sober, you can live in sobriety, you can live by the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, I've seen people do that.
But you're going to
I know I can
also
do it.
absolutely have to have some strategies in place,
You
like
have to
Dr.
have a lot of
Jackson
strategies in place, yes.
laid out. Dr. Jackson, I thank you again for your willingness to help Mr. Jaramillo.
Thank you.
And I'm going to provide you with all the information that will connect you with this family, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you. I'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. We appreciate it. You know, Mr. Jaramillo, Miss Edwards, the first step was you admitting that you have a problem. The second step
I know I have a problem.
was saying, I want some help.
Yes, I do.
But the third step, and an important step, is identifying whether or not you are even acknowledging to yourself that you have moved to the next level, meaning that you are clean and you are not a liar.
Right.
And that is why this court did a drug test.
Okay.
So at this time, I'd like to have the results of those drug tests.
All right.
Ms. Edwards, in order for you to move forward, you're going to have to...
Like, in the beginning, I just looked at bro like he was a capper. He's saying, all right, all right, all right. And I'm like, bro, if you failed these drug tests, fam, I just want to know what the reaction is going to be.
Thank you. A contributing partner in his rehab, depending on what
Can I say
you want to
something,
do.
Judge?
Of course you may.
And I didn't mean to, that was rude to interrupt you.
No, it wasn't. Go right ahead.
Let me just say that she, you know, she is really supportive, you know, of me and my sobriety and things like that. Like, you know, I think sometimes it's like, it's like I was having a conversation with her last night. I feel like sometimes it's kind of weird because it's like I have to fight myself. Like, it's like sometimes me versus myself. When you hear that phrase, I feel like that's me.
Well, sir, that's what
I have
happens
to
when
watch
you
out for
are
me.
addicted. Yes.
Yeah. You know, so.
Well, basically, can
You know.
I say, can I snowball?
It's like he's saying he a danger to himself. That would it sound like to me.
My whole thing is, like, I'm in agreement of what you're saying, but it's pretty frustrating because I am his, you know, accountability partner when it comes down to him, like, seeming as though he's gotten high or he's trying to get high or he wants to. And especially after he relapses, like, I have those conversations with him, and he somehow tries to make me seem like, through like psychology, like that you're talking to me, you're breaking me down, you're belittling me the way you're talking. But I tell him, if you was in rehab, that's the same way these counselors and these sponsors are gonna speak to you, and not even cursing, but just being firm and assertive and being like, hey, you know you messed up, right? And here's what you have to do. I'm not accepting this. I'm not. And it's like, see how you talk to me? I can't even get, you know what I'm saying? I ain't even nobody. I can't. And it's like, stop trying to make me feel like me handling you the correct way when you have clearly relapsed or fell in that department, that I'm being too rough on you. No, there is no such thing. I'm not being physical. I'm not putting my hands on you because there's an anger factor. But my whole thing is, I'm not really trying to go too much into it, but you better pass this drug test. That's all I know, because you've been sitting here saying that you've been clean for 3 months. So
I am going to pass it.
Like,
Let's go to the results.
All right.
Mr. Jaramillo, you say you've been clean for 3 months. Prior to coming to court today, you agreed to take a drug test.
Yes.
The results reveal you tested positive for THC, barbiturates, methadone, Oxycontin, opiates, cocaine, and PCP substances in your system.
How is that?
Because you are an addict and you have done drugs in the past 3 months. That's why it's in your system. You
He gotta go. Ship him off. He gotta go.
have. Don't look at me like you don't know this. You know that you've done drugs.
I haven't done
You've done drugs,
cocaine
sir.
and all that.
See, that's excuse me, Miss Edwards, you asked for my help. Mr. Jaramillo, you lied.
Ecstasy, yeah.
Mr. Jaramillo, you lied. You have done drugs in the last 3 months. Stand in accountability. If you say you want help, you must stand in accountability. You need to go for detox and continuous rehab. Sir, you will kill yourself if you don't get clean, period. And she's not the one that's being hard on you right now. I am. It's called tough love because anybody that cares anything about you does not want you to end up in the street. You need to get your behind to detox and rehab and really make an effort.
Yes,
Do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Make an effort.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Edwards, until he has a clean drug test, you need to take care of your children. That's what you need to do. And I know this is harsh, but I'm going to speak to you the way you want people to be tough love on him. Your responsibility is to make sure your children are safe. And if you have people in your home who are actively doing drugs that you cannot trust, you are not keeping your children safe. You know the experience better than anyone because you shared it with me. You told me that you grew up in foster care. You don't want that kind of stuff for your kids. You want your children to have a stable life. You want them to have a mother that they can be proud of, a father that they can look up to. He's not ready. Your responsibility as a mother is to make sure those kids come first. That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. That's not an angry black woman. That's a black mother. And you better put your big girl shoes on and make that your job. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's your job.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Jaramillo, I want you to get into rehab. I want you to work with Dr. Jackson. But more importantly, until you can be the man that you're supposed to be, that you can be, you need to stay as far away from this lady and those children because no more toxicity. Not in that house. It is dangerous because you're being irresponsible. And until you can be responsible, you do not have a place in her house or her heart. It's time to go. That's my verdict.
Take all your stuff, go, and don't worry about seeing your son, because you will see him on virtual FaceTime, not in real life, because you're not bringing all that around. What's next? You want your son? He just started walking. He just started walking. You want him to pick up that stuff next? He just started walking. Yeah, avoid me. Run away from me. Fine, do what people do when they like that. Run away from me. Avoid me, but you know I'm telling the truth.
You are telling the truth.
That man don't give a. He don't care. Bro had the whole medicine cabinet in his system talking about how is that. Hey, yo, that's funny, bro. That's funny. Old boy has more than enough pharmaceuticals in his system to become an unofficial spokesperson for Walker. It's not funny, bro, but yo, this is insane. Dude come to court lying about being clean on the whole. I feel like these comments is gonna be all funny, like that's what it's gonna be. The bumper clock took me right out, LOL. Yeah, it did. That's a lie. That's a lie. I must be a different mindset because I quit crack after 10 years cold turkey, cigarettes cold turkey, my body rejecting alcohol, and I quit drinking. He won't quit until he's ready, no matter what you or any other therapist say. Yes, it has to be a thing that he wants to do. He can go to therapy, he can go to rehab. Until he wants to do the work, nothing's gonna work out for him. This woman needs support. Seroquel is not a sleeping pill, it's an antipsychotic. That's insane. That's insane. My heart really hurts for this lady because I grew up in a home where my father was a drunk 24/7. It was a nightmare. No child deserves it. Believe me, it's best for him to go away, sending prayer for her and her children. Yeah, no cap, bro. The people who suffer most in these situations are the kids, bro, the children, because they're seeing everything firsthand, everything up close. You know, she's cleaning the bedroom where the youngest child most likes to play in. She's finding ecstasy pills just anywhere in the room. And kids at that age that are just beginning to walk, they become very, very curious of what they see and what they put their hands on, what are they touching. They see a little white thing, it's nothing for them to just and down it. She had to have known his test wouldn't be clean. He's an addict and he needs to get help quick, fast, and in a hurry. Yeah, he needs to get the ball rolling now. Not me trying to hurry and see what I clicked on when I heard the big bumper clock. man, please. He is high. Risperdal is an antipsychotic. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I don't know what that is. She said bumper clock. When she went on that first date with him, that should have been her sign and exit right then and there. Exactly. A few more comments. She may be part of what's triggering him to use from the expert is real, because her mouth can be something to deal with, which may be why she went to crime. Yeah, that's another thing too. I believe women have the power of words. I believe you can build a woman can build a man up, and then she can also tear him down at the same time. You feel me? You saw how she got in his face. You saw how she was, at the end. She has every right to be emotional, but her being emotional, she may not even know, like, her being emotional could be a trigger for him as to making him want to go be out all night, just getting high and shit. Throughout the court process, he hasn't even admitted what is it. He's like, he said he doesn't even know what triggers him. He doesn't even know why he's doing what he's doing. 2 more comments. Just Start, be bringing it. Love her tough love to them both at the end. They both need counseling. Him for his addiction, and she needs it for her personal issues. Really sad story. I hope they get the help that they both need for the sake of their son. Not just the son, the whole family, I don't know her, but her name is Spicy Cajun. Look her up, Yeah, I want to see who she is and what she does. And if you look more deeper into her, you'll actually be able to get her a full story. And she says she comes from foster care. I didn't know that about her. When I found out about her, in the explicit content world. You feel me? That's how I found out about her. She's a porn star. So yeah. So we all know what those type of that lifestyle, what it can lead up to, from her childhood until now in adulthood. She's 39. She's with a 29-year-old man. They've been together for like 3-4 years. That means they met when he was like 25, 26. What is she gonna do with that? I don't know. Now they have a child, and he can't even keep a job because he can't be consistent with his sobriety. All right, bro. Baylor TV, that was it. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. The more you like my videos, the more my videos get pushed out into the YouTube space. We already at 213 subscribers. Shout out to you guys. Look, I want to get 1,000 subscribers by December. I up the ante. I'm up in the goal. Let's do it, guys. We're a team. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for watching. Baylor TV, we out. Peace.